Good luck.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Game Addicts podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I'm your host, Brando. Of course, join with me, as always, this podcast player too, Mike.
Oh, hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
It's going pretty good for me. Of course, on the last episode, we basically didn't even tease it. We just said, next episode, this is what we're doing.
Right.
We do these episodes every once in a while called Retrospectives, where we pick something, whether it be a system, a handheld, or a game series.
Yep.
And then we just kind of focus on that for the entire episode, and we kind of talk about it. We relive some memories, give some history if we can, talk about some of our favorite games on that console or in that series as we go along. Basically, we're both collectors.
Yes.
I got into collecting in really hardcore in 2013, beginning of 14, when that was my backlash against PC gaming. that was my backlash. Well, okay, because I sold a lot of my stuff that summer.
Right.
I had a 360, I had a Wii, I had a Gamecube, I had a PS2. I don't think I sold the PS2. I don't know what happened to it. In fact, you know what? I think the one I have is still my original one. But I sold a lot of stuff and just took it in. And, of course, my Gamecube collection went with it. The only thing that I only kept one thing in my entire Gamecube collection.
And that would be?
It's in this. Well,
I know it is.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. But at the time, I didn't play any of it really often. And I'm like, you know what? I really want a 3DS. So I took all that money. I took all these games and system to disc replay. And then me and the wife went to B-Dubs and ate lunch. Then they called me and said it was done. We came back and they gave me money. We went and then picked up a 3DS, and we picked up New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Before it jumped up to $70.
Yeah.
It was like the 3DS XL had just kind of come out. It wasn't brand new, but I think it wasn't out that long. Like, we weren't at the new 3DS era. It was a few years before that.
Right.
So it's 2013. Yeah, 2013. So come back around. Did you hear water?
It's raining.
Is it raining already?
Yeah.
What?
Maybe. It looks windy. Yep, there's the rain.
You know, on the last episode, it kind of pissed buckets, right as soon as we got done.
Right when we got done, the power went out.
I know. We got super lucky on that.
Yes, we did.
We got super lucky on that. Back to my story, though. So I got all the way home, right, from a long day, and then I get a call. Disc replay. Hey, we actually owe you like $60 more. They got all the stuff that I brought in, and like one or two big things somebody else brought in,
Right.
mixed up, and they actually owed me more money. And they're like, well, we're still open for another 40 minutes if you want to come in. I'm like, oh. So I did. My thought process, that was in like the spring or so, maybe. Yes, it was in the spring, because that's when I also bought the Mass Effect trilogy on PS3 and said, this is where I'm going to play it. I don't need the Xbox anymore. So whenever we played it last time, I played it on the Xbox.
Right. Right, that's what I was going to say.
No, the PS3 versions are fine for the most part. We'll get into that when we talk about that kind of stuff. But what I wanted to say is that when I went to PC gaming, I was going to stick to like the consoles. I was going to stick to the PlayStations. And I was going to stick, I think I had a Vita at this point. And I was going to play the 3DS.
Right.
And I was going to do more PC stuff for when I wanted to play old games, or when I wanted to like get games on the cheap. And so what really turned me off to it was the amount of work you had to do for some games to get them to work.
Right.
Not every game is like this, but literally I'm a dude that I want to sit down, turn my game on, and play.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there and scour the internet and message boards for a custom patch for a game just to be able to play it because the developer of the game didn't care enough to patch it.
Right.
I'm looking at you, Bully Scholarship Edition. That pissed me off. I got it for cheap. Steam sales were, back then. I don't know about now because I'm completely out of touch. But literally,
Steam sales are so great.
I got like the 2 KOTORs. I got Fallout New Vegas. I got Bully, and maybe 1 or 2 others. That was like under $15. Literally, I want to say Bully, and Fallout New Vegas was $1.70 something.
Right.
$1.70 something for Fallout New Vegas, and for both KOTORs, I think I spent $3 and $6 respectively. 3 for 1, 6 for 2. In fact, if I'd have waited for 2, it actually went up on one of the. For the way the Steam sales used to work is that the games would go on sale, and then they would have like a random flash sale.
Right.
And then after they went on sale the first time, it went back on sale for $3 on
Right.
the random one. So if I'd have waited like 2 days, I would have got it for 3. But whatever. It was all super cheap, and I'm like, this is how I'm going to play games now. But it was literally with Bully, I couldn't handle it. The KOTORs played fine; they were older games. Fallout New Vegas played great.
Right.
Arkham Asylum, because I got both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City in a humble bundle. Arkham Asylum was choppy as all can get out, man. And I had to dial that game down so much to play it. And I was so mad. I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy.
Right.
I ended up hooking my computer to my TV with an extension USB cord for my controller. I ended up downloading a custom patch and a program to be able to trick my computer into thinking that my PS3 controller was a 360 controller.
Yep.
So after all this, I'm like, this sucks. And it was that summer that I went home and I found my Super Nintendo in my mom's closet, or in my old closet in my mom's house, with Star Fox still in it. And I found some PS1 games, and I was just so enamored. And I'm like, I think I want to start collecting. Because at the time, I was getting into some YouTubers. I was getting into Alpha Omega Sin. I was getting into Metal Jesus Rock's channel. And they have these big game collections. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I decided it was going to be Super Nintendo and PS1. How foolish was I? How foolish was I? I mean, it literally started with just those 2, and I made a big long list of games. I wanted that to be my like a specialization,
right?
Because and then if you look at my collection, and you see the size of my PS1 collection compared to everything else, you can kind of tell that's where I spend a lot of time focusing on. Even with games that maybe aren't listed as like the really great games, I still bought them.
Right.
Because I love that system, and I love a lot of different games on that system. Even if like Cool Borders, I bought couple Cool Borders games because they're Cool Borders.
Yeah, Cool Borders used to be the shit.
I know, man, they were fun. A couple Tony Hawk games, they were fun.
Yep.
Dave Mirra BMX, that was fun.
That was awesome game.
All your RPGs that I have, some of your action games on there, some of your platformers.
That was a RPG machine.
It was, man. It was
everybody was making them.
It was like, well, yeah, because it caught fire, man. It was like wildfire. And then going into GameCube, this was my biggest regret. The GameCube, selling my GameCube collection, which was not ever massive. But just because the GameCube just seemingly never goes down in price, it's kind of random.
No.
Like the system itself, I actually found the system at Goodwill the summer that I started collecting.
Right. For
$6. I didn't buy it though because oh really? Oh wait, never mind.
You might want to use the right one.
That one. So this wouldn't shut.
Right.
So it was just sitting in there like that. I'm like, no, probably doesn't work. But, over time, I got my GameCube back. Not my personal one, but I got the same color of GameCube. The black one is mine, of course. In front of us, we have the GameCubes. We have the original Indigo, the black, and then the Platinum. Those are the ones that were available in America. There was an Orange Spice one. I think that is only in Japan. I think. If I'm wrong,
let's find out. You keep talking, I'll find out.
But I ended up getting my cube back from Gretchen, from Silent Rob's wife. She had a GameCube, and she said that it was when I did my big Taxmas run with you.
Right.
It was the day before we went. Because I went up to Rob's and I bought the Cube, I bought the Wii U, I bought the Xbox, and I got all the games that came with it, and I got a hell of a deal on her cube, and I still thank her, obviously, for that. I mean, that was one of the games that she gave me was almost worth the amount that I paid for the entirety.
Japan only.
Orange Spice, Japanese import.
Yep.
But anyway, the GameCube.
$70, the cheapest.
On eBay?
On eBay. Not worth it.
No, I mean, the GameCube's at one point... Oh, I hit my mic. I always hit my mic. I just talk with my hands too much.
Yeah, it was the launch edition, too. Yeah.
But, were these two the only two colors at first? Were they indigo and black?
I know indigo was the only color for a long time.
Was it?
And then black, and maybe platinum, then black. But I know that indigo, everyone I ever saw was indigo for a long time.
Well, okay, because the console launched in the United States on November 18th, 2001, and it launched either a week before the original Xbox, because they both launched in the same month.
Yeah.
So I want to say it launched a week before or a week after the original Xbox, because the PS1 came out in October of 2000. So the PS1 was on the market for like a full year before these two came out. And originally this was called the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And in fact, the OS inside of it is still called Dolphin OS. That it has a custom operating software. The output on this is composite video, S-video. That's what I have. And then you can do component video, but you need to have a certain model, which I believe you do have.
I do. It's the indigo.
Yeah. Ooh, I almost knocked over the Mountain Dew. Or not, wait. Mountain Dew. I am all over the place.
Whoa.
A-dub. Root beer. Oops. Knocked over that. Yeah, but there's an extra port on the back that is for your digital AV out for your component, and only Nintendo ever made those, and they are super expensive.
Good luck.
They are super expensive. So it did have some online gaming, but not much. I want to say Phantasy Star was the only one that it really did anything for.
I believe so. I don't know for sure.
Of course, this came out after the 64. And, oh, really? As of March 10th, 2008, the best-selling game for the entire system, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
That doesn't surprise me.
At 7.09 million.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
So, the GameCube altogether, system sold. I just saw it worldwide, 21.74 million. 12 of those were in the Americas. 4 were in Japan, or actually almost 13 was in Americas, 12.94, and then other regions it was 12.77 or 4.77. Man, I am just not on it today. I need some alpha brain from On It that I hear all the time on the other podcasts that have actual ads. Really get my brain in the mode here. Anyway, so like the console, it definitely you can see where it kind of came from the N64. Like for it being a successor to the 64, because it shares certain capacities for it having 4 controller ports in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the controller, I have one of the Wavebirds. You can see they moved this. They moved all this stuff around.
Right.
But it actually has almost the exact same amount of buttons. The stick on the 64 was in the middle, and the D-pad was up here. So they swapped those for where people actually want their stick. Well, except for PlayStation. The C buttons, it used to be A, B, and 4 C buttons, has now been relegated to a second stick. The C stick, I never liked the design of this, by the way.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's small, and when you're playing like shooters,
yeah, I don't use this for shooters.
It just feels weird, man. And then of course they did add back the X and Y button from the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
We do have the R and L triggers. They're actual like sort of pulley trigger things.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
And then this little tiny Z button, which I never really liked the shape of that. It's so small. I don't like the way it feels. But they needed one over here. They're that's my one complaint about the. Well, I love the way that the Wavebird feels in my hands. Okay, I really do, because when it has batteries in it, the weight's okay. It rests very comfortably in my hands. And even the layout of the controller, which is much different from the diamond aspect that we normally see on all the controllers nowadays, that was popularized by really Nintendo with the Super Nintendo slant diamond thing, and then the PS1.
Right.
But like instead you have your confirm button right in the middle, and all your surrounding buttons. So you have a B button for cancel, green and red to let go and stop, accept, cancel, and then your other buttons are just off the side of that. So your thumb should always be resting on the A button,
right?
Because you're just right there. I don't mind that. It's odd at first. It really is odd at first when you start like playing games because you're so used to like that diamond configuration. But once you get in it, you're fine. But what I really didn't like is how it has less buttons than the PS2 and Xbox, because it's missing a select button, and it has one Z button, and it needs like another upper button like over here, because then with that over here, you are not limited by design, because some of these third-party games needed to redesign their controller layout.
Right.
Because the sticks don't click either. I don't know if you really noticed that.
Nope. This is one of my favorite controllers.
Mm-hmm.
The C-Stick, yeah, I can see not liking that. But outside of the rest of it, to me, this is how I want to hold the controller.
It feels, it's very comfortable.
The C-Stick really wasn't used too much. But, I mean, primarily I used it for Sunshine, Metroid, and Double Dash.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I mean, Zelda, Twilight Princess, I mean, yeah. Outside of that, I don't really use it for a whole lot more.
Well, the C-Stick is really utilized in Wind Waker.
Yeah, because I never played Wind Waker on
and
this
then
console.
I have a few games for the camera that I utilized it with.
Pokemon Snap?
No, that was on this system, dude. That was on the 64.
I know.
Don't do that again.
I know, I'm just making a stupid game, like a terrible game.
It was a game called Freedom Fighters. I actually didn't bring it today. But, like, did you ever play that game?
No.
It was made by the guys that made Hitman. And it was like a modern day, well, I guess for the time modern day. It was like Russia won the Cold War, and then they ended up invading us. So then they ended up taking over a lot of North America, and then you are an Italian plumber from New York.
An Italian plumber from New York. That's interesting.
Right, wink. And you lead the resistance against the Russians. And you end up you go on missions, and the whole like you end up recruiting like up to like 9 people that you can take with you on missions. You can like scout them out and make them go do stuff. So it's not the perfect game in the world, most perfect game in the world, but I really enjoyed it when it came out. And I ended up I rented it on the PS2, but when I ended up buying it, I bought it on the Gamecube. It's the same game. So that utilized the C-Stick for using controls. However, I want to say that like a lot of games in this era have this thing where they invert the right stick, where if you press the stick to the left, like the camera moves right.
Yeah.
And then right, it moves to the left. Buddy,
it's confusing now.
Oh my gosh. When I go back and I can switch that, if I can switch that when I go back, I switch it because it feels so wrong now.
So, the game that bothers me the most, Star Fox 64. That, now, going back to it, I'm like, oh, because everything's inverted. Like, up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. And I'm just like, oh my God, oh. But luckily, on the 3DS, the 3DS version, you can change that back to normal.
Mm-hmm. I want to say you could do it then too, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Now, I didn't own one from the get-go.
I want to say I had one fairly soon. I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, because you said before that this was your main console of choice during
this era, yes.
During that generation.
Yeah.
You did get an Xbox, but then it was modded with everything on it.
I never even, when I opened it, it got modded. Like, I never even turned the system on until it was modded.
Interesting.
I bought it specifically for that, to play all the old Nintendo games and Sega games.
That's funny.
That's why I bought it, because I could mod it, take it with me to Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
So then I would have all of my games that I would want on that system, plus whatever Xbox came out with.
Right on. I ended up picking up one of these in like December of 2003. So 2 years after it came out. Now the Cube.
When did the Cube drop to $100?
It was around that time. Because when I got it, it was $100.
Because I remember I picked it up when it was $100.
So then we probably got it around the same time then.
Yeah.
It might have been a little bit before that, but I do remember distinctively for Christmas that year wanting one because there was a certain game coming out that I wanted to play.
What game would that be?
I want to say I brought it. Yeah, I did. That game was Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Unfortunately, not my original version.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, I want to play this. This is the remake of MGS1, which ironically was not. It was released in like 2004, so it wasn't even that long. Oh, maybe almost about 5 years. MGS1 came out in '98, so yeah, it was about 5, 6 years. Now this is basically MGS1 with the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Right.
So, and all the graphics have been updated. Most of the original voices are back. There's only one change. And Gray Fox has a different voice. But the same guy who voiced Fox in the original one is still in the game voicing the DARPA chief. So for some reason, they just decided to get Fox have his own voice, have a different voice than that guy. Kojima did not direct this. He did approve it. It is produced by Hideo Kojima. And it was developed by Silicon Knights, released by Konami, and it was directed by some Japanese filmmaker. So some of the cutscenes are like really over the top. Fun, different. I still prefer the original. But it's so much. It's so cool to see some of the stuff that they did in here. Notice they also put on the back of the box Meryl's codec number, so they can still do that little thing.
Huh.
And also for the Cube, they changed the games. Whenever Psycho Mantis would read your memory card, because in the original one he read Konami games. I believe it was Castlevania and maybe one other one, but on this one it's Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Mario Sunshine.
Huh.
So he was like, "You like to play Super Mario Sunshine, don't you?" And what's funny is that when I first played it, the only reason I got this is because my co-host on Journey into Comics, Nate, traded stuff in because he got rid of his cube for me to get this to help me pay for it.
Wow.
He goes, "Here, I don't need that stuff. Just take it in, trade it in, get Metal Gear because I want to play it too." He goes, as long as I get to play it too, I'm cool. And then he gave me his memory card, in which it had Mario Sunshine and Melee on it. So when he said that, I was like, "No, no, I don't enjoy playing those games."
I don't.
But yeah, dude, I bought it. I got it in Christmas of 03 as my Christmas was one of my Christmas presents that year. I talked my mom into it, and then we went down to the mall in Champaign, Illinois. Went into Sam Goody because they still had one of those then, and picked up one. And then we walked down the mall, went into EB Games, Electronic Boutique, before it was that store became a GameStop. And they had the same color, the black GameCube, except it came with a game. And it came with the Zelda promotional disc.
Yes.
And this is still my original copy. So happy that I didn't have to hunt this thing down again.
Yeah.
Because these were packed with that run of systems, and they run about $40-$50. Maybe a little less now, because actually the one that we talked about on the last episode where you did your pickup has gone down a little bit.
Right.
But with this, you get NES Zelda 2, then you get the N64 Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, plus the playable demo of Wind Waker. Now, when I was buying the GameCube, I wasn't getting a game for like 3 months. So I was buying it just to have the system. So then later on when I bought the game, it would be one less thing I didn't have to buy.
Right.
And so I kind of said, hey, what if we got this and went and took the other one back? It would give me a free game. And she goes, oh, why didn't they have that down there? I'm like, oh. And I don't maybe remember what the guy said, but the guy was like trying to like get me to pre-order Metal Gear, trying to get me to do all this stuff and trying to suggest games. And we're like, no, we just want this. And somehow we got out of there. So we went back to Sam Goody and returned the original one. And went home and I fired this up and played some Zelda, which is funny because I'm playing old games on like the new system that I bought.
Right.
But when I ended up selling all my Cube games, I took everything I had, except for this. When I was going through my games, when I was like trying to see what all I had, when I decided to start collecting, I found the case for this, and I opened it up, and there's no disc inside. And look at that manual.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that manual. I never even opened it. Maybe once or twice, but so there's no disc in there, and I'm just like, what the hell? Why would I trade that in without a case?
Right.
And I'm like, maybe it was in the system. Oh man, it sucks. Fast forward a few months, I buy all this stuff from Rob. When I buy the GameCube, Rob is like, here's one of your GameCube controllers. I'm like, mine? He goes, yeah, I ended up having it when I brought the Wii over. I'm like, it's messed up. He goes, yeah, I don't know. We must have used it for something. So then when I got Gretchen's GameCube, I got I got an extra controller with it. So I go home, I'm thinking, and it's probably a few days after that weekend because I got a lot of games that weekend, cleaned all those. And I was just thinking one day, and I'm like, why did he have my GameCube controller? He was playing Zelda. It just clicked. I'm like, when we moved out around that time, he was playing Ocarina of Time.
Right.
I'm like, hey, Rob, did you go look inside the Wii and see if Zelda's in there? And he goes, okay, sure. Plugs it in. No, some hunting game. Oh, but wait, he went and looked inside the hunting game. There it was.
And you're like,
oh, buddy. He brought it in the next day, and I was just, if I could do flips, I would do flips because this is something that I didn't want to have to track down again. Having this just makes, even though it's not my original cube, you have to.
it's a party.
You have to go. How many times did you go before we started?
Twice.
Holy crap, dude! You've got like the bladder of a beetle.
Yes. I think a beetle's got a bigger one than I do.
Probably. Holy crap, man. Anyway, yeah. So I was really happy to get it because then I actually had something to play on the damn thing, other than nothing until Metal Gear came out. And then when Metal Gear came out, I ended up picking it up as well. But then, I ended up also like wanting to play the other remake that was on the system. And that other remake was Resident Evil. And this is the remake of the original Resident Evil, which was released on the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. But this is, completely redone graphics, everything done. They released on 2 discs. We haven't even talked about the discs yet. The discs for the GameCube are like this little mini disc type thing. And so this was a design that was done by Nintendo to try and curb piracy for for disc-based games, because this was their first disc-based system. We didn't even talk about that.
Yes.
So they went ahead with these smaller discs, and while the GameCube in power is more than the PS2, because the discs are limited in size, that's how you end up with a golf game having 2 discs.
Right.
A golf game.
Yep.
Which was that PGA Tour.
It's
5.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting Resident Evil, the remake, which is cool because at the time I want to say that it was already down to $20. So I ended up picking up the remake of Resident Evil, and I love this version. I really, really like this version. It it does add to the game without like it's one of those rare remakes where it's the same game, but they added just enough stuff to make it new.
Right.
You know, they added a few new areas that you go, ooh, couldn't go here in the first one, but it's the same game.
Right.
You know, pretty much, and I ended up wanting to get the entire collection, which I did at one point, and then I sold it. So I ended up getting Zero, which is the prequel to Resident Evil 1. You play as Rebecca and Billy, the badass.
Billy the badass.
With that badass tattoo he's got, man. And then he's got like the dog tags, and he's got the slick back hair with the one strand hanging down. He is such a bad. And they don't show it here, but in the game he's got like broken handcuffs on because he was arrested. He's such a badass. But anyway, Resident Evil 0 is cool because you actually control both these characters at the same time. What I mean by that is that you always have a character with you, and then you use a button to instantly flash back to the other character.
Right.
So like there are no item boxes in this game because you just drop stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
And then you have to swap them between the two characters. But it was also really cool because there were some puzzles that required you to like utilize both characters in two different spots.
Right.
So put one character there, have them wait, and then you move all the way over to the other side of the building, and then you both do something at the same time, and then you had to meet back up somehow. Usually in story they would do that, but I really like Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 0 is okay. I like it. But then they ended up doing a port of like the not necessarily the PS1 versions, because I want to say the GameCube version of RE2 is actually the best one to get because it has the bonus stuff they put on the N64 version, and then it's better quality.
Right.
And then I want to say the port of 3 is the Dreamcast port, and then they ended up having Code Veronica X because it was a port of Code Veronica that was on the Dreamcast. Then I also have some other games that I've played over the years, some that I've collected. Some some games are worth more to talk about than others. Some big games, because this is the first console that didn't. Well, was it the first console that I can? Yeah, the first one that launched without a Mario game.
Yeah, I believe
Because
so.
didn't Mario Sunshine come out after the system was already out? What did she say?
2002.
Yeah, so it did. Came out a little bit later. Came out just a little bit later. So instead, what we had to start off with was Luigi's Mansion.
Yes, this game. If you did certain combination of stuff, he would bump the table and go, Mario.
That's what you take away from this game for sure.
Because we rented it, and I was doing something, and I accidentally pushed combination of buttons, and he was, Mario. My dad's like, is he humping the table yelling at Mario? I believe so, Dad.
Now, this was like a ghost busting type game?
Yes.
Where you have like a vacuum cleaner. Like a Game Boy Color. Really fun game.
It is a fun game.
Really fun game. They actually did make a sequel for the 3DS. Look at that manual.
I believe that there was released that Luigi's Mansion 2 is recently coming out for. Let's look it up.
They did a sequel for the 3DS.
Yeah, coming out on the 3DS.
It's already out.
Hold on a minute.
It's already. Dude, that's been out for a while.
No. Somebody was talking to me about Matt was telling me that they were supposed to have another Luigi's Mansion on this new console.
On the Switch?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, I don't think anything has been said yet. What I will, though, is pull out. I want to say this was also a launch title. Really, really fun game. The sequel to Rogue Squadron. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader.
Talking about the Dark Moon, right?
Yeah, that was
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about it coming out. Oh, it's gonna be Greatest Hits.
Is it out or is it already Greatest Hits? Like, is it already out?
Nintendo Select. Buy now.
Yeah, so it's buy now for $20. There were 2 Rogue Squadron games released on the Cube. I brought Rogue Squadron 2. I ended up picking up Rogue Squadron 3 before I picked up 2, back when I originally owned it. And Rogue Squadron 3 ended up putting in these little stupid running around levels that did not feel good whatsoever. They felt very sloppy. However, the flying was great. And once again, like the first Rogue Squadron on the N64 was absolutely fantastic. I cannot say anything more about that game. This has the original voice of Wedge Antilles. What? What does it say about it?
I don't know. Somebody made it.
Oh, keep scrolling.
I know. I hate those. Released for the Nintendo Switch in February of 2018. Luigi's Mansion 3. I knew that they announced something about
Wait, but when did they announce that?
That was on the floor. That wasn't.
Was it?
Yeah. Let's see if we can find it on.
I didn't see anything about that at all. During E3.
It might have been the aftermath.
Mansion 3, right here, live, right on the fly. Switch.
Right here. Luigi. Oh, official trailer was released in February 13, 2017.
Wow, that's a while ago.
How did we forget this? Here they had a teaser April 1st. Yeah, we missed that.
Didn't even know that was coming out.
How did we miss that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, also released, this is another Nintendo exclusive. This is called Eternal Darkness. Sanity's Requiem. Now, this was released, this was also made by Silicon Knights, same guys that made Twin Snakes. And this is really gritty, Resident Evil-esque type game where you're running around like a mansion and all this kind of stuff. This game definitely feels a little dated now. I tried playing it. I didn't play it back in the day, but this game is definitely it's almost like an ode to that style of kind of really bad tank style controls.
Yeah,
it has that kind of that kind of controls to it. So I mean, but it also comes from that time period where these you had Resident Evil, you had Silent Hill, you had a lot of these big kind of adventure horror games.
Right.
So definitely want to look out for if you're into that kind of stuff.
Bestseller.
I did, yeah. This one I ended up getting with my cube, and it's Smash Brothers Melee. This is the bestseller edition. Again, complete here. I never really got into Smash.
I played the crap out of that game.
This I tried playing the first one on 64. Okay, and then
this really was it's the game changer.
That's what everybody says. That
the 64 was good, but this right here, it was just it exploded.
Well, that's what everybody says, and obviously everybody goes back to this one.
Yes.
Even to the point of on the new ones of the Smash Brothers for Wii U, when they brought the GameCube controller to be able to be used for that. So it definitely shows that people like that kind of control, and they crave for this game. And I never really understood it, I guess. I'm not a big fighting game aficionado, so I don't really know much about it, and I never really understood what that meant.
It's just their symbol that
it's
they
just,
had.
I don't know what it means. It's just two lines.
It's the circle. For those that can't see, it is the circle.
It's circle and bros, and
it's a Smash symbol.
It is. Like on the new one, I just thought that was is that 4? But it's not. It's actually this one too. Shows you how much I know about Smash Brothers. I know absolutely nothing. I know nothing, Jon Snow. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. This game is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
This is the sequel to Paper Mario that was on the N64. And really, this is probably the best one out of the entire bunch. When you also have Super Paper Mario, which is kind of a different kind of game. You have Sticker Star, which is a bit different of a combat style, and then Color Splash, which I have not played Color Splash yet. So I cannot say if this is in my opinion, better than Color Splash. But this really takes like what they had already done with Paper Mario, and just bring it to the next level. Really cool RPG with this. Cool story about getting this. Hey, here is my receipt. I talked about this maybe on the last episode.
You did.
And if you didn't hear that, I bought this game from Disc Replay, and it's one of the few games that I bought from Disc Replay. Took it home, and it didn't load past the intro movie.
Right.
So I had to take it back. And knowing if you've been listening to our show for a while, and we've been complaining that just GameCube collecting in our areas is very, very dry, especially for games that, like the sought after games. You know, your Marios, your Zeldas, all your first party stuff, all your exclusive stuff. That stuff is getting harder to find in our area. So to find Paper Mario, like how much did I pay for it? I paid $19.99 for it, which I think on last episode I paid $12, but it was $20. So I paid $20 for this game. Took it home, it didn't work. Sad face. But then, they have a little policy on the bottom of the receipt. Hey, if it doesn't work, come back, we'll get you a new one. And I was kind of sad because I'm like, there's no way they're going to have 2 of these games.
Right.
And they did. And they let me keep the original case that I took it home in. It's not the best looking case, but it's better than no case. And I have a manual, so that's good. And the game works. So big thanks to KP.
I don't know who that is.
Whoever that is that works at Disc Replay, I think he still does. Big thanks to you over there. Beautiful Joe. This was released by Capcom on the system. This was originally like exclusive, and then it ended up going to PS2 later,
Right.
along with Beautiful Joe 2. Interesting enough, when I bought this, I found both of them in the same store, but I have the second one for PS2. I couldn't find them both on the same system, which kind of sucks because I would actually want them both on
this one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's why I brought it. So this is a really cool, like, kind of side-scroller beat-em-up. It's really fun. It's almost like I think the whole concept is that he gets sucked into like the superhero movie, and then he is Beautiful Joe. He's this character, and it's a really fun game. So then you go from scene to scene, just beating people up and being rad, I guess.
So the next game that you would have talked about is one of my all-time favorites on this system. It would be Tales of Symphonia. This game was one of the first RPGs I played in a while, excluding Zeldas and stuff like that, which I actually believe that this came out first. I actually sought this out for full price.
When it first came out?
When it first came out. And I got the last copy in the store.
That's cool.
I was super excited, and I played the crap out of this game. Actually, I played it 2 more times since I got the PlayStation 3 version, but this is one of...
I'm so happy that they released that version too.
Yes.
Because you didn't have a cube at the time.
I didn't have a cube, and I would like to have them all. Because what happened is you take your save data, and when you went to a New Dawn, it would load over,
right,
and you could play it over. So that's what I did.
So question.
Yes.
Now that you have a cube and you have, some more games, you come across this, you're buying this, aren't you?
Yep.
Yep. All right. That's what I thought.
That's not even a thought.
I ended up buying this on the big original Taxmas
Yep.
that you were along with. I got this from a store that shall not be named.
I believe I told you that I might sell you mine.
And then you could find it.
I couldn't find it. My sister lost all my games.
Yep.
Okay, so...
That's how she goes.
Yes. Super Mario Sunshine. Nothing else needs to be said. This is a great game. This was a very unique game. First time Mario really had an equipment, I believe, that he carried around, I believe. And this was just this super fun game.
It's different.
I loved it. I played the crap out of this game.
A lot of people didn't get into it because it wasn't Mario 64 2.
Right. Which I didn't really care that much for. I mean, Mario 64 was great. Let's just say that. But I really liked that it was so unique. That's one thing I like about Nintendo is that when you pick something like a new Mario game up, it's going to have its own unique style.
Well, yeah.
Every single time.
Like the only time that they've really kind of kept the same consistency.
You got the one that didn't have a game. It doesn't have a game in it.
Well, where is it? That's yours.
open the purple one.
There it is. I was gonna say, I'm like, well, it ain't mine. All my games are in the case. I never played Sunshine. Here's the thing: is that when I got my GameCube, I got it for Metal Gear, I got it for Resident Evil, and I got a few other games. A lot of like the first party stuff, I actually didn't get until I started collecting. So I didn't even play Sunshine until I bought it.
Never really interested in this one.
So like and the same goes for a lot of these. So like, except for Twilight Princess.
Oh, I bought that day one on this.
I got this on the Wii because we ended up having a Wii when it.
Place to play was on the Cube, in my opinion.
I agree. I've played both now, so I definitely agree. I bought it and tried to play it on the Wii, and I'm just not into the motion controls. But of course, this game has now since seen an HD re-release on the Wii U,
which we both own.
Yes, and it definitely got that. Definitely very, very awesome that they did
with
that.
the amiibo.
Yes, that I haven't opened. But yeah, Twilight Princess came out. This is pretty much the system swan song.
That was my favorite as a open world style concept, like kind of how it was. That was my favorite Zelda.
Until Breath.
Because I like the way Breath is set up, to where you can just go, and I like that. But that is still one of my favorites.
I'm gonna talk about this one next, just because we're in the Zelda theme. Wind Waker. So
fantastic game.
Yeah, dude. I played the demo for Wind Waker when I got that compilation disc, and I curled my nose up at it.
Yep.
I didn't like it.
I was with you when I saw the video for it. I was like, "That's not Zelda. That's not."
Get
Zelda.
out of here with that little kid Zelda.
I don't want that Zelda.
This is actually one of the better Zeldas ever made.
Yes.
Yes. We are completely stupid.
Yeah.
We had to grow up, I think, a little bit to appreciate it. This is very, very. Again, we've used that term, but like unique.
Yes.
Well, because not just in the way the game looks, because like they did the whole cell shaded thing, and the game looks completely different. It looks more cartoonish, but how they did the open world with the sea
was amazing.
And especially for the time. I mean, this also saw an HD re-release on the Wii U, which looks amazing. Holy crap!
I have that one.
Holy crap! I mean, they were able to make that game look so pretty.
That's one of the only few digital games I own.
Because it came with the system.
Yeah, because I got the Zelda edition, which will never go away.
Yeah. Question: collector mind here. Do you ever plan on getting the physical copy of the Wind Waker HD just so you can have it with the console?
Yes.
Okay. Just a question, because here's the thing: with this, I actually already owned the case.
Right.
A buddy of mine, Tony, gave me the case because it had Resident Evil. He just like, it's got Resident Evil in there. I don't need any more. You got a cube. Enjoy. It's wrong case, but whatever, right?
Right.
And this is years ago.
This is before it mattered.
It's like 2005.
Yeah. Open
it up. Only disc 2 was in there. I'm like, buddy, it's a 2-disc game. He goes, oh, my bad. So when I bought this, the case that I bought was actually the best seller version.
Right.
It was actually in worse shape. And this one isn't in the best shape either.
But I believe, I don't know, I like that case better than the bestseller one.
Well, I mean, the only thing that's different about it is that it has the big
player's choice.
Well, okay. No, it actually had
it had
the big oval.
But it still has the player's choice on it.
Yeah, it has player. And here's the thing: is that's something that I've talked about on the podcast before about like the PlayStation thing. But I only wanted to get Black Label, and I ended up passing over like too many games because they were Green Label.
Mm-hmm.
Like being able to get a full copy of, Symphony of the Night at our disc replay for a decent price.
Good luck.
But then saying, no, I'm just gonna wait till I get on Black Label. Never seen it.
Kind of like me with Dragoon.
Yep.
Passed it up. I'd really like to have the Black Label, and then never saw it again. Never, until I finally found it, and I didn't care what was happening. But yes. So
you can go ahead and go next.
Double Dash.
Yes. Double Dash.
This
Mario Kart Double Dash.
This is Mario Kart Double Dash. To me, this is the best Mario Kart that was released until late.
I can vouch for that.
I actually played this at a friend's house. I was at work, and they cut us out of work early. And he's like, "Hey, you want to go over, have a little alcohol, and we'll play some Double Dash?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" Went over there, drank a little bit, played the shit out of this game. Left his house, went and bought it. not even a question.
Again, I never owned it until more recently. I actually came across it at our disc replay.
I love this game.
But
I love the fact that if you could switch and hold power up. So like, for some reason you got a blue shell, maybe you were in like second place. Flip it around, keep that baby, drive it around, get another one, use those until you get knocked out. Blue shell, you're back in front. I loved it. You could bank powers basically. I
never played it, so like for me saying that it was that it's the best until 8, I couldn't say that until recently. So it's really odd for me to say that going backwards,
right?
Because I didn't play it because I played Mario Kart 64, and then I had the Game Boy Advance one, and then I did not play that one, and I didn't play the Mario Kart DS, but I did play Mario Kart Wii. Right, and I didn't like it.
Terrible game.
Not as much. Me and Caitlin played the crap out of it, but when I went back and played that one, when you look at it in chronological order, that one was damn good, and it really impressed me. I liked it more than the Wii version. So when you're looking at it and saying, like, which one was the best one until 8, that one.
Yeah. Even Mario Kart 7 on the
3DS,
it was good. Still wasn't as good as Double Dash. Because I owned it for a while.
Yeah.
And I was just like, meh. It's not. And then 8 came out, and I was like, yep, this is way better.
I went and got 8 right away.
We both did.
And
actually, I bought my system the day that game came out.
Yeah, you did. Ooh.
I got the very last one.
Was that over at Meyer?
Yep, on the west side.
Okay, so it wasn't the day that wasn't the day that Mario Kart came out.
I think it was like a day or two later.
It was maybe it was the weekend after. Because here's what happened: Mario Kart 8 came out, and then that weekend on Sunday morning at 5:00 in the morning or 6:00 in the morning, the Meyer on the west side did a grand opening.
Yep.
And they gave away gift cards. So and one person got a $500 gift card, but I ended up getting a $5 and my wife got a $10. So we put them together and got $15 off Mario Kart 8. So it was $45. So the game was out, but I saw they had the Zelda one, and I came to work on Monday and told you about it.
Yeah. And I went and bought it.
Yeah, and then it was that week that you went and bought it, because I remember I think you struggled with it for like a day, because you came into work and you were like,
it was money. That was the only thing holding me back. It was like it was tight, and we had to ramen for a couple of days.
Oh, buddy. I know all about tight. Up next on my list, this isn't an exclusive. This is also on the Xbox and PS2, but this is where I own it. This is the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. 10 games in one.
That's where I owned it.
I want to know what all 10 games.
I know all of them.
Do you know?
Yes.
Go.
There's 2 of the fighters. Those are the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mega Man. I don't know the actual names of the fighters.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The 2 fighter games.
Also, on the back, featuring behind the scenes of Mega Man series created by G4. This was released for the Mega Man 15th anniversary. Now, I absolutely love Mega Man. That's one of the things that in my NES collection, I want that complete before I'm done collecting for the NES.
Yes.
Will I get them? Not anytime soon. But
some of them are stupid expensive.
They are, yes.
Somebody's actually selling the Mega Man X3, the $253 one.
X2 and X3 are both pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But okay, if I never in my life get any other Mega Man games, I have them here.
Yep.
So that makes me happy.
It's a good one. So this one, I actually only recently started playing on the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Not really super recently, but whenever I bought it, I played it.
Yep. Because you didn't play it back then, did you?
No, I didn't have 64.
Yeah, you had PlayStation.
Ocarina of Time. And then, of course, the Master Quest, which was featured in the last one. You have more to say about this than I do, but I didn't like my friend had a 64 and I played it and he had this game. I didn't really like it because of the time. I hated the time. Like you only have a certain amount of time. Then you have to go back. If you don't finish the dungeon in time, you start all over. I absolutely hated that. Hated it. Where's that Majora's Mask? One of them you only had a day before the world ended.
That's Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Hated that game.
Yeah, no, this isn't Majora's Mask. Ocarina is amazing. Ocarina does have the time travel thing where you can go forward and backwards. No, Majora's had you had 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Before the world ended, and then if you didn't make it in time, then you had to just keep going back over. You didn't start over from the beginning.
No, you kept your masks. Whatever mask you acquired up to that point, but you would have if you didn't finish the dungeon, you had to restart.
This is a really good companion to the Zelda disc that I said before.
Mm-hmm.
And this was also a not for resale one that was bundled in. I don't know when it was bundled in. This is 03, so sometime that year probably.
Right.
I mean, of course, but this also has sneak peeks at other hot titles, including F-Zero, 1080 Avalanche, Wind Waker, Wario World, Metroid Prime, Zelda, Link to the Past, Four Swords. That was on GBA. Well,
Yep.
let's drop the game. Now, when the Dreamcast failed, it failed primarily because Sega was running out of money and because of the success of the PS2. So Sega teamed up with Xbox, or with Microsoft, to help create the Xbox. And originally, there was going to be backwards compatibility for Dreamcast games on the Xbox. Really cool. That would have been a cool selling point for anybody who bought a Dreamcast and had a lot of Dreamcast games. Because then that would instead of going, man, where do I go? That would tell you where you would go.
Right.
But I guess there was a problem because Sega wanted them to keep the Sega, A&W burp. They wanted to keep the Sega internet servers up for the Sega games, and Microsoft didn't want to do that. So what ended up happening was Microsoft did get quite a bit of exclusives that were being in development for the Dreamcast, including Shenmue 2, which did see a release on Dreamcast over in the European market. So if you ever get the British Shenmue 2 and have a European Dreamcast, you can play a full English version, I believe, of Shenmue 2. Really cool, but if you have an Xbox, there's no need for it. They also got Crazy Taxi 3. They also got Sega Rally, and I don't know if it was a complete remake or it was a Jet Set Future Radio, that inline skate game with the spray paint tagging.
I don't remember that.
If I show you it, you'll go,
probably.
Gotcha. Anyway, Nintendo got some stuff too. Nintendo got some pretty cool re-releases. Since they were on the Dreamcast, these new re-releases kind of gave these games some new life to a new audience. And I have one of them. It's the Sonic Adventure DX, the director's cut. And of course, this is basically Sonic Adventure. But they also put in some new stuff. They put in all new mission mode, 6 playable characters, awesome bonus games, blah blah blah.
That's the one with the world hub and the town hub. We go to the town.
Mm-hmm.
One of the adventures is, I believe it's the first one.
The control of this game sucks.
Oh, I believe it.
As much as I loved playing this back in the day on the Dreamcast, I have this game on Dreamcast as well. It doesn't age well. It's really cool. You're going so fast, but it's so hard to control. Right. But the other games I do not own from that are they also have Sonic Adventure 2 re-released on here. It's called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they also have the re-release of Skies of Arcadia. It's called Skies of Arcadia Legends. That one's $50-something. So it's right up there with the Dreamcast version with how expensive it is.
Is this for me or you?
That's for you, pal.
Okay.
I brought it for you.
Next one is Metroid Prime. This game, it was just absolutely phenomenal at the time. it was weird to not have a second stick to aim with because you locked onto targets.
Yeah, it was like when you move the stick, you move the reticle.
Right. But this game was unbelievable for what it was, and for the time and what the era. It was just amazing. I played this game. This is one of the few games that I can put down here and say 100% without any help. Absolutely everything, but not in the really fast time frame, like 20 hours or something ridiculous.
Well, I mean, back then, I don't know about you, but for me, a game had to last you. I replayed games a lot back then.
I played the crap out of that one.
The version I got this on my big Taxmas hunt. The same place I got Tales and Metal Gear. No, I'm not saying the name of the place. I refuse to give them any acknowledgement.
Okay.
This is the exclusive Target version. Give you coupons, $50 in savings inside. Let's look and see if they're in there.
Probably not.
I'm thinking no. I think only the menu. Oh, those bastards took my coupons.
I love the look of the disc. It's the ball.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that.
One of the things I'm really excited for the new one is the spider ball.
I don't know how well that comes up on camera.
Probably not real well.
No, well. If I was not so lazy, I would put pictures of all of our games in our videos, just like we did with that Final Fantasy one.
Yes.
Yeah. I brought that one just to talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about that one. This one first because the last two are
This is super short. Yeah. Yeah.
This game, I got introduced to this game by my friend Jason, and he had it on the original Xbox. It's called Metal Arms: Glitch in the System. And what this is like a third person like roam around, kind of like a platformer, but then you just like run around, shoot stuff, and all. It's really fun, man. It was just super fun game. I remember playing it on the Xbox, and at his house, and then when I was collecting, I saw this on the Cube and went, all right, I'll get that on the Cube. And, yeah, definitely picked that up. It's a fun game. It's also, I want to say it's on all three systems, like I said.
Huh. So this next one, before I mention it, everybody loves Star Fox 64.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing game. So I didn't pick this up until recently when I picked up my Cube. Actually, it's the first game I bought with my Cube. Star Fox Adventures. Now I was excited because I was hoping that it would be, ship guided and then a little bit of planetary exploration. I was wrong. I disliked this game a lot. I think I didn't even finish the first puzzle.
All right.
And I put it down and I was like, I'm done.
All right, so this is kind of like almost like just a shame on you.
Yes.
Because this game was developed by Rare, and it was the last game that they made before they got bought by Xbox. And this game was originally called like Dinosaur Planet or Planet Dino or something like that.
Right.
And when they were making the game, I don't know if it was suggested to them by Nintendo or somehow or another, they ended up turning the game, changing it completely from an original title to using Star Fox to make a different game.
Just have the original.
Now, Star Fox Assault was released for the system, but I want to say it was released a little later. I don't remember when Assault was released, but that one is more of a ship game. This one is it's a Rare game. This game is a straight up kind of a Rare platformer, 3D platformer from that era. Now, granted, if you go into it like you did, expecting a certain title, a certain kind of game, then it's definitely not going to be what you want. But if you I knew what this game was before I bought it. I've heard all about the debacle because the feeling that you felt when buying this game and being disappointed is what a lot of people felt when it first came out.
This game was released. Assault was released in June 16, 2005.
Oh wow, so that was pretty late.
Or wait, it was in America, 2005.
Yeah.
Actually, it was released in America first.
It was released on February 15th in North America. Wow, a week early.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is weird.
That don't happen.
And let's see, what's the other one? What time was the other one released?
Oh, I saw in the box. It was like 2002. It was pretty early.
We're gonna find out. This actually got a 9 out of 10 on IGN. I'm serious. The Assault got a 7 out of 10.
Well, as I said, it is a rare third person platforming adventure. If you know what you're getting,
2002.
If you know what you're getting,
23.
it's a good game. If you can step away from the fact that it's not a Star Fox
Released at 4 days. North America on 23 September 2002. Japan in 27 September. In Australia, 15 November. So, that's the second game that was released.
Last game here to show you. I've talked about it before on
Worst
games ever. Batman Dark Tomorrow. And the reason why it's here is because I left it here for him to play, and he hasn't played it yet.
No, because it's terrible.
This is it's the worst game I've ever played. It's the worst game I've ever bought in my collection. This was my mistake. How Mike said, I thought this was a game like this, and I was disappointed. I thought this was going to be good. I thought this was going to be Batman. Instead, it is just a pile of crap.
Yes.
You know, I actually I saw a video, and I think you showed you're the one that kind of clued me in this video, but I ended up coming across it randomly, and it's like all the voice actors who have voiced Joker. Well, I heard the one for this. I don't know how anybody ever heard that voice, because you can't get far enough in this game to hear the voice.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Absolutely muck. Get out of here. Now, of course, we said that the system released in the original Indigo.
And we talked about the birds.
And we talked about the wave birds. There are two colors of wave birds, kind of like a regular,
I call it Nintendo Gray.
Nintendo Gray color, and then a platinum color. Just a fair warning on the platinums, guys. The paint on them do chip. I had a platinum originally, and it chipped like a sumbitch.
Yes.
Now, there's one more thing really to talk about, and that is some of the add-ons. You had the internet add-on,
right?
And
the modem.
then of course there was like the bongos for Donkey
Yep.
Konga. That wasn't really an add-on, it's more like a peripheral. But then you also had like the microphones for whatever. I just realized a game that I don't have in this is either the Pikmins.
Oh yeah, the Pikmins were.
I don't have any of those.
I don't have any of them for. Well, I think they're expensive on this
They
one.
probably are. I know
Maybe they went down with the re-release on the Wii U, but
No, because Pikmin 3 did. Because Pikmin, I remember one of the very early episodes of this show, we talked about how high or maybe it wasn't even this show, maybe it was like a Brando cast on Journey to Comics before it became Game Addicts Podcast.
something.
But yeah, go ahead and look that up while I can talk about this. My favorite add-on.
$20. The first one's $20. The second one is $32.
That's not so bad.
It's not terrible. Released 12/02/2001. So that was one
right after launch.
Right after launch, that's one of the first titles. This is a great game.
It's
a great game.
It's a lot of fun. I own the third one on the Wii U.
So do I.
Actually, I told you about that because the price of that dropped when they.
Yeah, and I ran in there and bought the Collector's Choice or the
Player's Choice.
Yeah, or Nintendo. I think it's Nintendo Select at that time.
Nintendo Select, yeah.
They've changed it so many times.
We'll see. What was cool is that when I went in, the used price had dropped, so I was able to get the original box for $16. Not super lower, but
it's the original. I mean,
okay, so I just said earlier that I didn't care.
Kind of do.
If I can get the original, I will.
Right.
If I come across it and I want it bad enough, I'll go ahead and buy it. So the Game Boy Advance player.
So before we start, this is probably one of the coolest things that they ever did.
Yes. Oh yes, I agree.
Period.
Now on the Super Nintendo, they released the Super Game Boy, and it allowed you to be able to play your original Game Boy games on your TV through your system.
Right.
Now what this does is that this allows you to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on your TV through the system. Now you have to take off. Here, we'll just show.
Here, wait, don't do that. Here.
No, I was just gonna grab one of those. Well, they have these little spots here on the bottom that you have to take off, and I want to say it is this one. No, maybe this. I don't know which one it is.
Hold on, let me look. Let me read.
And I don't think it says.
Nope, it doesn't.
But if you look at where it's plugged in at, it's this one. It's the one.
It's this one.
It's this one.
Yeah, it's these two.
Well, no, because you can still see the plastic still there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it screws into the bottom, and the games go into the front. There's an extension port for your link cable for your Game Boys, and then
Serial port 1, high speed port. It's plugged into the high speed port.
Is it plugged in the high speed port?
That would be that one.
You know what would solve all this if we just took it apart, but I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that either.
If I had a coin, I have keys, but I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so in order to play any games, you have to have this. This is the Game Boy Player boot up disc. If you have this without this, will not work.
You have a paperweight.
And also, people who sell these know it. They almost always know that you are certain that if you seek out just the disc, they know you're seeking out just the disc for a reason, and they're going to upcharge you for it. Now, I have played the crap out of this. Note that this is probably the best way this is actually one of the only ways that I know of to play, other than like the Retron 5s or any repro consoles, to play Game Boy Color games on your TV.
Well, on the original hardware, this is the only way to go.
Well, because, all right, so I have the Super Game Boy. The Super Game Boy does not support Game Boy Color.
Right.
And then I have the Retro Player Advance that goes on the Super Nintendo to utilize the power of that.
Right.
And utilize the controller. That plays Game Boy Advance games, but that's the only thing that it'll play. It won't play original Game Boy. It won't play Game Boy Color.
Right.
So as far as I'm aware of, other than the Retrons and stuff like that, this is the best way to get Game Boy Color, or like the only way to get Game Boy Color games captured, or for your TV, and then for to capture onto a card for on hardware. Now, I do think that the picture that comes from the Game Boy player is a little muckier than the Super Retro Advanced player that I have for the Super Nintendo.
Right.
But honestly, I think that it just I don't know. I like this better than I do like that, and I think it's partially because it is actually Nintendo branded.
Right.
So while that add-on player or that little converter player mini GBA for the TV on that to use for the Super Nintendo, while it's very viable, and I got it for pretty cheap. I got it on like a Black Monday or Cyber Monday sale. When I saw this in a store, and I got it at our former Game Exchange, I had to have it.
Yeah.
Absolutely had to have it. So, in conclusion, I don't know how much more I have to say about the GameCube. It definitely came in third, behind the PS2 and Xbox. I think it did. Let me look up the Xbox sales real quick, because I want to say that it did, in fact, come
we know that
third.
PlayStation 2 is the clear winner.
Oh, by far.
By far. They smoked everybody.
Absolute mile. Of course, when I either type in Xbox original now in order to get any sort of like Wikipedia for it.
Thanks Xbox for not making. Well, thanks Microsoft for not doing the Xbox One. Dummies.
Let me see. Here, let's go to the actual. Here we are. I got it. Units sold 24 plus million. So this one was at 21 overall. So yeah, this one definitely came in third.
Yeah. And
it's a bit of a shame because it's almost kind of like the dark horse of that era, and it doesn't really get a whole lot of love. Because a lot of people gravitated towards Xbox when Halo came out, especially Halo 2.
Well, the Xbox was new, and one of the biggest things is they were like, "This is a PC for your computer, for your TV." That was like one of their big selling points. Like, this is basically a PC. You can play games on it. And that was a big selling point. I know I was excited to get one, and it was super easy to mod, obviously.
Yeah, I went with the PS2 for this generation. I got it within a year of its release. So the GameCube and Xbox were out. They had just come out by the time I got my PS2. And that was my mainstay, and this was my second. I mean, And really, I got it again just for like the one game, and then it ended up becoming my Resident Evil console, and then that ended up not being exclusive anymore. And I do have a little bit of a love for the little guy because I really feel like what really hindered it were the discs. You know, if these were normal size discs, they could have fit more information on them, and just maybe. Because they didn't want to go to a DVD player.
I believe one of the biggest hurdle that killed them was that they still don't allow you to watch media on it. You cannot put a DVD in any of their systems and play it.
Could you do that with the Wii?
No. Not to my knowledge.
I don't remember if you could or not. I never did it, but...
I'm pretty sure that you could not.
Well, because they allow you to do the streaming apps now. With they started that with the Wii.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, they like their systems to be like dedicated gaming consoles, and that's what you're going to be using them for. Granted, nowadays, you have anything and everything that can play your media. So it doesn't really matter that the Switch doesn't have, like, all the, like, the newer stuff. What does it say?
It says you can now install a slew of great third-party apps such as emulators, homebrew games, media players to get DVD playback on your Wii with MP3 1. So that right there tells you they did not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, like, I really just don't think that they made the best decision by going to these smaller discs.
Right.
I think that hindered, because it's got to cost more because you have to make a whole second disc. You have to, like, for publishers, if you're going to release a game on this system, you're going to have to be mindful of how much space it's going to be, because not everybody's going to want to have to pay to have a whole second disc.
Right.
So then what you're going to end up with is there's going to be some compressing.
Yep. And
then, of course, like I said before, with the controller, it's a great controller. It just needed a few more buttons to match up to the other two. Because the Xbox had the black and white button, and they were basically what became the bumper buttons.
Yeah.
And then it had a start and back button, select.
Mm-hmm.
And then PlayStation has always had the same amount of buttons, even though like on the PS4 kind of changed with this one big select button. Right.
Yeah.
In the middle. But man, I really just think this console's a bit underrated. It has a lot of third-party games on it.
It does.
So many. And you know what? There's one game that I don't have for this console that when you see it, you're going to have to get it.
And that is?
Dead to Rights.
No.
Well, this is where you played it, right? This is where you confused it with the PS1.
I did. I played it there.
Didn't you get it for the PS2?
I did. Both of them.
That's what I thought.
1 and 2.
Yeah. There's not too many more games for this that I want to get. I want to say that I'm close to being done with this console.
Echoes is one you definitely need to pick up.
I need to pick up Prime Echoes, and I want to pick up that Zelda Ocarina Master Quest disc, just so I can have it as a tag along with the other one.
Yeah.
I'm not like super. That's why I really haven't sought it out. It's not like I must own this. That would be really nice to have.
Well, when you think about it, you have 1, 2, 3 different ways to play it already.
Yeah, you're right.
Original,
I mean, I already have
3DS.
Ocarina. Ocarina's on there.
Right.
I just want it for collector purposes.
Really, it's the Master Quest on disc. That's the big one.
Yeah. I mean, and then isn't it on the 3DS version? Didn't that come with it?
Let's find out.
You got it.
I got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I really just, I want to say it did. I don't know if it says on the box though.
Yep, right there. Once you beat the main game, a mirrored version of the challenging Master Quest awaits.
Boom.
There it is.
So that's another way for you to be able to get the original plus Master Quest is the newer one that's on 3DS. That's cool.
Definitely the color on this is much better than it was.
Dude,
64.
They really enhanced the graphics a little bit for that version.
They really did.
Yeah, man. Do you have anything else to say about the
I have
GameCube?
nothing.
Nothing. You know, the Wavebirds was the first party wireless controller.
Yes.
So that's something that we didn't say. They beat Nintendo and Microsoft to the punch.
Beat Nintendo and Microsoft to the punch?
Sony and Microsoft, my bad. Thank you.
I like the fact that, since we have one sitting here, you could go up to channel 16 on this. So 16 players at once. I don't know any 16-player games for this console off the top of my head.
Well, no.
Because I know Smash was, 8?
No, Smash is 4.
Sure? Grab Smash. Let's see.
I don't think it's 8. I think it's 4.
Because I thought you could link.
Where's Smash? Where is it? Here it is. Again, you're talking about someone who doesn't really get into this at all.
See,
I know it's 1 to 4 simultaneous. You were wrong. 1 to 4.
So I'm wondering what was
somebody out there is going, I can't believe he thought that was an 8-player game. He is such a noob.
Yeah, you try to remember every single game with AR.
Don't be an herb.
Don't be an herb.
Inside jokes. They also had a lot of really wacky memory cards because you get a couple.
Yes, which were featured on the last one.
I got this when I got the system because I have a black one. I don't think it's in here. I don't think so. Maybe I sold that because I want to say maybe Rob had this memory card too. And that's how I ended up keeping it.
I have a black one.
Do you have a black one?
Yeah.
Like an actual Nintendo one?
Ooh, I don't know. Let me see. I've got 3.
You know, all this would have been solved if we just grabbed everything. Because this show is almost done, and we just keep moving the table and standing up and moving the table and standing up.
Those are Mad Cats.
And one of them was Nyko, right? Because you just opened it on the last episode.
Official Nintendo.
What? Oh, well, I'll be darned.
It's tiny.
I know, these are pretty tiny. But, this is a 2 times. One of yours is a 16 times.
The other one's a
35
35,
times.
yeah.
Completely ridiculous. But, I love the old GameCube. It is so tiny, and it fits on your shelf just fine. And one thing I do like seeing is, the modding community on YouTube that make portable consoles. They've been able to make a portable GameCube, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, take all that stuff. And there's actually a modding community that actually goes in here and goes into the top and puts an SD card slot in here. And they mod it to be able to, instead of reading games, it reads SD cards. And I've actually seen one where the dude put an N64 inside of here too.
Oh yeah.
To be made, and again, it read off the SD card. Then he took one of these, hollowed it out, and in the front put the N64 controller ports.
That would be cool.
So definitely try to look that up on YouTube if you can. It's really cool to see that. But with that being said, I don't think there's a whole lot more that I have to say. R.I.P. the GameCube. It pretty much lasted right up until the Wii re-released in 2006. Again, the Zelda game, Twilight Princess, that was like the swan song because it got released on both. It was like it was just like Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
For this one, where they came out for the Wii U still, but they kind of downplayed it because they wanted you to buy it on the Switch.
Yep.
It was the same way. It was like the Wii already had a bunch of titles, but they just said, boom, Twilight Princess on the Wii, off the go. So anyway, guys, that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you for checking out this episode. Thanks for listening. Us blabber on about the GameCube. Definitely love the GameCube. We're gonna probably do the Xbox one next.
Yeah, you can do that.
Talk about the Xbox in a retrospective manner. Of course, hey, we won't have a table full of systems. We only have one system.
Yeah.
Yours that keeps turning on.
Yeah, randomly, it just says, hey, I'm turning on. So I have to unplug it.
When the power went out yesterday, and it came back on, it turned his system on. It was funny.
And because he didn't believe me, he was like, really? It turned itself on? That's weird. And then I was just like, look, we haven't been over here. Look at this. He's like, oh, wow, it is on.
Now, they do have some console variants for that. where they have like the see-through green Halo one. They have that one blue one that we saw that was European only. That could read both.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Then they have the only 2 ever
orange
with the Halo sign.
Yeah,
on it. That guy was just.
He found that at a garage sale.
Found it in a garage sale. That's the holy grail of Xbox, right?
Go check that out on Metal Jesus Rock's
Yes.
channel. He has a video with the guy, and the dude brought it and everything. Or did he have it there?
I don't know.
At the time, I don't think that he had sold it yet, because I think he said that he had received offers.
Yeah, because he was saying that he would receive offers and he didn't want to tell anybody what they were because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even want to know where the numbers were at.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm not sure when we're going to be doing that episode.
Probably when there's not a whole lot of news running around.
Exactly, and we'll see. And that's where these retrospective episodes going to come into play. Is when news is a little bit dead. Is coming out of E3. There's still a lot of news to talk about. There's still a lot of things to talk about. So on the next episode, I'm gonna have to scour and see if there's any sort of topic in those news stories that I definitely want to kind of key in on and focus on. But I definitely want to do the Xbox. The PS2 I still want to do, even though that wasn't your forte. We need to get Silent Rob in on that one, because me and him could sit and talk about that
I don't have
forever.
anything for that other than what I've played now.
I mean, you've got a decent-sized collection for the system now, but it's like you didn't grow up with it. You don't have the memories of it. Me and Rob, we were in there. We were in the trenches. We were in the thick of things,
Yeah.
And so me and him could sit there and talk about that. The NES, I didn't own one when I was a kid. My first console was a Super Nintendo.
NES, first one.
And so I really can't do the NES like the way that I could the Super Nintendo. Genesis would be stretching it, because I had one.
Oh, I played crap on my Genesis.
I had a Genesis, but it wasn't my. I was a Super Nintendo kid, so I mean, maybe the Wii, but I don't own the system anymore. I have a Wii U, which is like the best way to play the system.
Right.
So for these systems, I think we're starting to run out of systems to talk about.
Yeah.
We could do the PSP again, because when we did it last time, it wasn't really focused like it is on this one. So maybe when we do the Vita, we'll do the PSP along with it.
Okay.
Because the Vita, as much as I love it, I don't have too many games for it. And we both have each version. We could talk about the Vita and what we like and all the games that are out for it. But then it's like, we can kind of tack on like the PSP. Maybe we can just do the Sony handheld version of the retrospectives. I like how we're just riffing at the end of the show, and we still haven't just ended it yet.
We still haven't done
our tags or anything like that, which you can find us. So you want your recommendations?
Yeah.
You go. You already recommended that one, so you can't do that one again.
Oh, I didn't know that. My question is did I do the Tales pack? Tales of Symphonia.
Well, I mean, that's on the PS3.
Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime?
If you haven't played that, go out, get it. It's a great game. Very unique. Love it.
I'm actually gonna recommend Metal Arms, Glitch in the System. I could say any one of these. Seriously.
Yeah.
Other
than Batman.
Other than Batman. Thank you. Paper Mario.
What was the other one that we said was a terrible game?
Star Fox.
Star Fox. Yeah.
Well, you said it was terrible. I think it's pretty good, but that's yours.
Well, we've got them all mixed up. It's all right. We'll do it at the end of the show.
But yeah, Metal Arms. This was for GameCube as well. As I said before, for Xbox and PS2. So if you can't find it on GameCube, there's plenty of places to find the game. But check that game out. It's a pretty fun little game made by Sierra. So with that being said, now we're going to go into our end game. Of course, you can find us on Twitter. I've been posting all our episodes there, sharing other podcasts too, so you guys want to go check those out as well. We're on iTunes. You can download us there. You can download us on Google Play Music, Stitcher, Podbean, on all those places. Actually, I need to circle back to Twitter. Let's circle back just a second, because we're Game Addicts Play on Twitter. We're on Facebook, even though I don't utilize Facebook as much. I need to, but all the social media is pretty taxing, sitting there on my phone all the time.
Yes.
I really don't like being on my phone so much, but I try to get out and try to push our episodes, so that way if you're not subscribed to any one of those and you just want to follow us on those and see when we do put one up, feel free to do so. Feel free to ask us questions too if you have any questions, or call us out when we're wrong. I'm a very humble guy.
None of us are ever wrong.
I'm a very humble guy, so if I got something wrong, please tell me. I want to correct that in my head brain.
Yes.
So we're also on YouTube. We have a camera set up so that way we can, you can sort of see we actually own these games, and we're sitting here talking about them and fidgeting with them. It's really what we do. That we just have them here for us to like mess with.
We really do just fidget with them. Sit here and fidget. I have a fidgeter really bad, so I'm sitting here fidgeting with it.
For being a fidgeter, you don't have a fidget spinner.
I don't want one of those.
Come on, man.
Nope.
I saw one though that you might want to maybe think about getting.
Depends on which one it is, because I've probably seen it.
It is the Captain America shield.
Yep, seen it.
My nephew had it, and I'm like, that's a cool fidget spinner.
I just don't want it. I don't know. I fidget, but I can't just sit and do one thing. I can't sit in here and go like this and be okay. Like, that's not going to happen. I've got to. I'm all over the place.
Well, then have you seen the big cube fidget spinners?
Yes.
Where they have all those different things on them?
Yeah, I don't want this.
Oh, come on. Well, then what we need to do is we need to get a room full of bubble pop.
Yeah, that would be okay. I'm okay.
All right, guys. Thank you for checking out this episode. Thank you for for checking us out on every little thing. Wherever you digest Game Addicts podcast, thank you. And until next time, I'm Brando.
And I am Player 2 Mike.
And we'll see you next time.